Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is not something people discuss anymore. Not in a world addicted to comfort, distraction, and avoiding anything that feels too real. But you clicked on this video, which means a part of you is ready to hear it. The truth that shaped warriors, forged discipline, and created men who lived with purpose so sharp that every moment felt like a blade against their throat. This truth comes from Yamamoto Tsunetomo, the samurai philosopher behind Hagakure, The Hidden Leaves, a book written not for the masses, but for the few who can handle a life lived without illusion. Tsunetomo believed that life becomes clearer, calmer, and far more powerful the moment you learn the art of dying. At first, that sounds strange, dark, maybe even uncomfortable, but stay with me, because once you understand what he meant, you'll see that this idea isn't about death at all. It's about freedom. It's about living without fear. It's about waking up each morning with a mind sharper, more disciplined, and more courageous than 99% of people will ever develop in their entire lifetime. Tsunetomo said, meditation on inevitable death should be performed daily, not as a morbid ritual, but as a reminder of what truly matters. He believed that when a man faces his death, really faces it, he stops living like a coward. He stops postponing the life he wants. He stops seeking validation, permission, approval, applause. When you accept that your time is limited, you stop wasting it. And that's what Tsunetomo wanted for every warrior, a mind untouched by hesitation. Think about how most people live today. They wake up, scroll, complain, procrastinate. They speak as if they're promised tomorrow, next week, next year. They act like they're immortal. But that illusion is exactly what keeps them weak. When you think you have endless time, you waste it on nonsense. Tsunetomo understood something the modern world tries to hide from you. When you remember death, life becomes fierce. Every moment becomes a battlefield. Every choice becomes a weapon. Your actions gain weight, meaning, direction. Imagine this, waking up tomorrow morning with one thought: today I die. Not to be tragic, but to be honest. If today were your last day, how would you show up? Would you still stay silent when you need to speak? Would you still accept disrespect? Would you still waste another hour on distractions? Would you still be afraid to pursue what you want? Tsunetomo believed that a warrior who accepts death becomes unstoppable. Because once you accept the worst outcome, everything else becomes easy. Fear fades. Doubt dissolves. Procrastination disappears. What's left is clarity and a kind of calm intensity that only a few ever cultivate. He wrote that a man should act as if his body were already dead, not because life doesn't matter, but because the fear of losing it is what poisons every good decision. When you let go of that fear, you stop living reactively and start living decisively. And look at your life. Think about how many opportunities you've delayed because you were scared. How many moments you hesitated. How many times you waited for the right time. But Tsunetomo reminds you that right time may never come. There may be no tomorrow. The only moment you truly own is the one in front of you. And if you treat each moment as if it were your last, suddenly you stop living like a spectator and start living like a warrior. This is the art of dying. Not letting death control you, but letting it sharpen you. Tsunetomo also taught that loyalty, honor, courage, discipline, these are not just words. They are decisions, daily choices. And nothing tests a man's integrity like remembering that he won't live forever. When you accept your mortality, excuses lose their power. Laziness loses its comfort. People's opinions lose their grip. Because if you died today, none of the things you fear would matter anymore. The embarrassment, the doubt, the failure, the judgment, all meaningless. What matters is whether you lived fully, whether you stood for something, whether you acted with courage instead of fear. whether you live true to your own code. This is what Tsunetomo wanted men to understand. Death is not the enemy. Wasting your life is. When you embrace that, even quietly, you become different, more grounded, more dangerous, more alive. You stop seeking approval and start seeking mastery. You stop running from challenges and start running toward them. You stop drifting and start choosing your direction with intention. And something else happens too. A kind of calm enters your mind, a silence, a steadiness, a discipline. You react less. You observe more. You speak only when necessary. You do what needs to be done without hesitation, because inside, you've already accepted the one truth everyone else is terrified to face. This is why Tsunetomo believed the art of dying is the art of living. A man who accepts death becomes a man who lives life all the way through. So let me ask you one question, a question Tsunetomo would have asked if today were your final day. What would you regret? And what would you finally have the courage to do? Think deeply about that. Because whatever your answer is, that's exactly what you should start doing now, not tomorrow. Not someday. Double quotes now. Honor your life by remembering it will end. Strengthen your resolve by understanding your time is brief. Live with intensity, with direction, with presence. This is how warriors are made. This is how fear is defeated. This is how discipline becomes natural. This is how purpose becomes clear. And if you carry this mindset with you, just a small echo of Tsunetomo's philosophy, you will begin living in a way most people can't understand. With focus, with bravery, with simplicity, with honor. The art of dying isn't about letting go of life. It's about finally, truly living it. So if this message hit something inside you, if you felt even a spark of truth in these words, then stay with this channel, because we dive into philosophies, mindsets, and ancient wisdom that force you to think, to grow, to sharpen yourself. And if you want more videos like this, take a second right now to like and subscribe, not for me, but so you never miss the ideas that could reshape the way you live. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay present, and remember, a man who learns the art of dying becomes a man who finally learns how to live.